Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the Casual Store Stock Podcast, Week 10 Stocks Editions. And now we got a gentleman right over here who I have to ask, Christopher, what's it like to be in the basement? Because now my team's in the basement. Here's Chris.
Your team's in the basement as well? Yeah, come on to the basement. We'll have a basement party, Stu. All Browns fans, all Cowboys fans.
Yes, and I just got to ask.
Wait, I got a question. Will your fan bases be joining America's team?
No. And now we got a gentleman right over here who realizes that 5 picks still equals Lions win.
Houston has a problem, Stu. It's Jared Goff.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Now, I guess I should ask, gentlemen, what is your thoughts about Week 10 so far in the NFL?
America's team, the Detroit Lions, keep proving themselves week in and week out.
Don't share those words. I hate you.
Stu's going to catch on, okay?
I never will say those words. There's only one team that's America's team.
And it's the Detroit Lions.
No, it's not. No,
we just booked our ski trip. We picked Super Bowl weekend again because the Lions are going to be there. We're going to watch the Super Bowl. It's going to be fantastic.
Lions versus Chiefs, baby.
Oh, gosh.
It is not going to happen. Now, gentlemen, I guess we've got to first talk about the 4 teams that did not play and had a bye week right now. So, Christopher, you don't have to talk about how miserable the Browns are. We're still going to keep the records right now. I'm sorry, Christopher.
Well, Stu, I want to let you know I have a right now tally. I'm gonna track how many right nows. We're at 2.
Yes.
Are you telling me if we did like a drinking game on this one, we would have alcohol poisoning at this point?
I'll take a drink of my Coors and I'll tally every time you say it.
All right.
Also, get a 12-pack ready for yourself.
All right, we got the Packers that are actually doing pretty okay. Like I said, we kept in the 6. They didn't play this week. Raider Nation. And now this is going to be very interesting, Douglas, because you did have one team as a 1. Will you have any other team more than once?
This week was a weird week for the ones, Stu. This was a really weird week for the ones.
This is a weird week for the ones, I feel like. There's going to be a lot.
The Cowboys sneak closer and closer to 1 status.
Those Cowboys want to win.
Yes. I don't like this. And then the Seattle Seahawks have been a mid-4, so we kept it right up.
You see that they released their leading tackler?
Oh, my. The Seattle Seahawks?
The Seahawks did?
Yeah. And they're going into another game against the 49ers this week, too. So things aren't looking bright in Seattle right now.
Big
Seattle.
guys.
Are you telling me Seattle country, it's let's be miserable?
Very gloomy, like from what I've heard the weather's like there. That's my understanding.
It is so miserable and gloomy, just like their football program.
Yeah.
And now we got to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals losing closely to the Ravens. 34-35. It was actually at one point they had the lead by 21 at one point, and then they blew that game.
Well, I don't know what the Bengals were doing. Maybe it's because they were going over their time slot, and this had to do with money within how much time the NFL's allotted on a Thursday night on Amazon Prime. But it's like, give them what the people want. You know, you have the ability to tie the game by simply kicking a PAT, point after a touchdown, to send it into overtime, and you go for 2. But yes. I don't know what they're doing.
Yes, at one point they had an 82.6% odds of winning this game in the third quarter. No, yes, actually in the second half of the quarter. Yes,
I mean, I was more or less surprised that the best kicker of our generation in Justin Tucker missed a point after a touchdown. That was crazy. Yes. And then the Ravens come back with 2 straight. Was it 2 straight 2-point conversion? No, I just one.
Yeah, they got 1 straight conversion, and they got a touchdown in garbage time, and then they just couldn't get the extra. They couldn't get the onside kick. Not the onside. Yeah.
But yeah, last week, Stu, you and Doug gave him a 4. I gave him a 5, so it should be easy for me to for the Bengals. Well, I want to see what you guys are going to do.
This is a good question. They have
a 36% chance of making the playoffs right now, though. They're actually in 7th place, I believe, just via terrible.
Technically, as of right now, they are the 9th team
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
looking at
the
NFL.com. 9 seed, 28% chance to make it.
Oh man. All
So
right.
sorry, Doug, where are you getting your numbers from?
I was pulling ESPN earlier.
I wonder what's more. Can't think of the word right now. ESPN or NFL.com. I don't know who's more creditable.
So okay, I go first. I gave him the 4 last week. Is that correct? Or I gave him 5 last week?
You gave him 4.
They did barely lose to the Ravens, but they blew this game. They did not look good in this. They literally had the fourth quarter in their hands, and then they decided, nope, I want to give Baltimore. I want King Henry to do better. Nope. The defense decided to give up a lot of touchdowns. So I am going to give the Cincinnati Bengals still a 4 because, like I said, they barely lost, and they're still in the 9th seed. So, and then plus there's a lot of crummier teams that are not looking as good. So we're going to start with you, Christopher. What's your thoughts about the Cincinnati Bengals?
With me. Yeah, I gave him a 5 last week. I'm going to keep him right there at a 5. I mean,
What?
and the reason being they're the 9th seed, and the 9th seed is just barely missing the playoffs. And when you have a quarterback, Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdowns, yeah. You had Jamar Chase, 263 receiving yards, the most receiving yards by an NFL wide receiver in history. He had 3 touchdowns. This game was just an amazing offensive explosion in the second half, more or less the fourth quarter. Bengals, they should have sent it to overtime, and it could have been a different story and a different conversation had they sent it to overtime and possibly won. But yeah, hats off to the Ravens for being able to somewhat pull it off. But that's what we're going to talk about next. Yeah, 5 for me.
All righty, Douglas. Now it's your turn. What is your thoughts about the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, I certainly can't move them up, so I'll keep them at a 4. So I'm checking ESPN, and they have the 7th highest % chance to make the playoffs according to them. But it's them, the Broncos, and the Colts, all kind of basically one of those 3. And I think out of those 3, I do like the Bengals' chances the most. So the Bengals, man, their offense, it's starting to click. And T. Higgins should be back this week. Just can they get some offensive stop or some defensive stops,
Yeah, that's the only problem. It's just the defense is just bad.
Well, I mean they're also playing the MVP frontrunner in Lamar, so it's not it's an easy task to stop Lamar Jackson either. So it's they did enough to win the game. You just got to win the game. And if they win this game, I mean, they're clearly in the playoffs, but they didn't, and I can't bump them up after a loss. So
No.
they play at the Chargers this week too, so that's not a guaranteed win in any capacity. The Chargers are looking dominant. So
yeah, the Chargers look a lot better than they are. So hey, good coaching actually changes things. Wow.
Yeah, look at what Michigan's doing, man, without good coaching. Holy guacamole.
Oh my God, they're looking great, right, Douglas?
Dude, it's so frustrating. The announcers literally gave up and he's clearly gonna run the ball to the left. The announcers were just sitting there calling every play. It's who couldn't stop that? Any Madden kid could just stop that. You hit the gaps. It's crazy how they couldn't adjust or have anything creative.
No.
But this isn't about college football. That's a different issue.
Yeah, that's yes, they look atrocious. And now we got to talk about the Baltimore Ravens right now, who are now still they're still in the wild card right now. They are the top seed of the wild card right now. They would play against the Houston Texans in the theoretical playoffs. So we're going to start with you, Christopher. What do you think about the Baltimore Ravens right now?
Yeah, I mean, I gave them an 8 last week. That'd be having them go to the AFC Championship game. I can't decrease them because they won. MVP, reigning MVP, 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry continuing to blast the ball, scoring a touchdown. He didn't score that touchdown until I think the 3rd or 4th quarter, which was impressive. Well, because the Bengals defense had him on lockdown for the first half. But yeah, when you're able to pull out a win like that, scoring with a total of 69 points in a match, that's impressive. So I'm gonna keep him at an 8 for sure, making that AFC Championship game.
All right, now it's your turn, Douglas. What is your thoughts about the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, first thought is more about the AFC as a whole. Holy guacamole, what a fun playoffs the AFC is going to be. Just looking at these quarterback matchups we're going to get, if you get Justin Herbert, you get Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, CJ Stroud,
Russell Wilson.
And Joey Burrow. Like, if that's your 7, dude, like, what a fun playoffs that's going to be. And the Ravens are right at the front of it. You know, like, they're, to me, I've been saying for a while, they're the team that challenges the Chiefs the most. But we'll find out a lot more about Buffalo this weekend. But Baltimore's got to be an 8. I mean, you know, Lamar's amazing, and he's clicking right now.
Alrighty, and it looks like, okay, this is a good question. So is Baltimore good enough to make it to the postseason right now?
Absolutely.
As of right now, they're looking
Yes.
good. But I think they could beat the Texans. But I'm trying to think. They would have to play against either Buffalo or the Chiefs. Could they beat the Chiefs again? The Chiefs look beatable. But I'm just trying to think that I feel like that they're still like up improvements, but I don't feel like 100% confident right now with the Baltimore Ravens. I still think they can probably win a playoff game, but I don't know if they will make it to the 8. So I still probably going to give them right now the 7 for right now.
Wow, Stu.
I just don't have that 100% confidence because the problem is I feel like Baltimore has those good games and then they have these fluky like random loss games. I still think the Browns is still like in my head of just like there's still some warning signs, but I feel like if they're going to be more Browns this week's, I mean the Ravens this week's and not them playing against the Browns, I think they can do better.
Well, this upcoming Sunday, we got the Ravens playing in the Steel City against the Steelers, so that will test everyone's ability right there.
Iron City Bears, let's go!
That's a marquee
That's
matchup.
the most excited I've been about that rivalry in a long time.
I know it's been forever since I feel like this has actually been a fun rivalry right now.
Plus, I get to watch the game with you boys if I stay up in Michigan for Sunday afternoon.
Yes, gentlemen.
Double podcast this week, live stream on Sunday.
Live stream, let's do it. We're live streaming on YouTube StreamYard. Let's do it, even though we can only do like 5 hours. Boo, live stream. But hey, I love live stream, so StreamYard. Sorry. So next, we got to talk about the New York Giants having a great game against the Carolina Panthers, and this in the German league of the Bundesliga. And I'm going to tell my nephews that this game was a Super Bowl. I'm going to tell them that this was the greatest football game of all time.
I mean, it wasn't a terrible game. It went to overtime, and that's what people ultimately want for the most part.
Yeah, the game itself was fun. The implications weren't so fun, but
yeah.
Should we have told the Germans that this was the 2 most top-notch NFL teams right now? In the NFL?
They hear New York. That's all they hear.
Yes, they're here in New York, and they're just like, man, this is the greatest team ever.
Derek Jeter, New York. All right, let's go.
Yankees? What? Oh wait, this is the New York Giants.
Judge.
Yes. Wait a minute, this is the wrong sport. Anyway, Douglas, we got to start with you first. So the Giants lost 17-20 in overtime against the Panthers. Daniel Jones, still a quarterback somehow, and he's not benched at this point.
So I believe I saw something with like the odds to get the number 1 overall pick, and I believe that this team had the best odds to get the number 1 overall pick, and they lost to a Panthers team that we've had as a 1 for a good part of the season. The Giants are a 1. They're atrocious, man. Daniel Jones way out. Like I think they have to be like they're like FPI is the worst. Like everything about them is just mediocre. Like Daniel Jones is just rough, man.
Should we do the womp womp womp?
Yes, sir. If you can get that sound effect, absolutely.
That'd be fantastic.
Goals for next year's podcast.
Next year's podcast, I'm going to get a soundboard, and I'm going to have the prices right when you just like lose you lose the prize, and it's like dun, 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 dun. But let's see. Are the Giants? I'm going to give them the 10. They're going. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this team lost to the Panthers. The Panthers, who suck. They made Bryce Young look good. You get a 1 in my book. That is how I feel. This is more of an abomination. And honestly, you know what? Have fun with Shedeur Sanders, Giants. Just saying. You're kidding. I'm just saying. That's what's going to happen.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to go to the Giants. I mean, they just saying Danny Dimes to plenty of dimes. I don't think they're going to.
But I was reading that his cap hit won't be bad if they cut him after this year.
Oh,
There's like a pretty strong chance that they're just going to cut him and eat the money.
Yeah. I think you got to do it if you're the Giants. Now, Christopher, are we going to give triple ones right now to the New?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one to the Giants. They have the worst scoring offense in the NFC. There's a couple of worst scoring teams in the AFC, but NFC wise, worst scoring offense. You did say that the Giants made Bryce Young look good. I don't know if that's true. He only had 126 passing yards. But you had was there a pick six by chance? Because I'm seeing no pick sixes. But yeah, Daniel Jones, 2 interceptions. You have Tyron Tracy, who's been a good running back, but yeah, nothing's really clicking for the Giants.
No Saquon Barkley, though, am I right?
Yeah, right. If they had Saquon Barkley, we'd be in a different story here.
Oh my God! If they had Saquon, they'd probably be winning.
The entire NFC East is just looking at this Eagle situation like, wow, how did we let this happen? What were we thinking? Oh, we got Zeke. We them boys.
That'd be like the Browns trading away like Nick Chubb to the Ravens or the Bengals, and then him obviously excelling.
Oh man, then going and winning the rushing title.
and also being like, all right, we're bringing back Deshaun Kaiser as your quarterback again.
Dude, do you know where Derrick Henry lives and trains in the offseason?
Where?
In Dallas. He wanted to be in Dallas, dude. You guys let him go to the Ravens? What in the world?
It's like a gift on the front doorstep. Hey, I train here. I train here. Sign me. But nope.
Sign me. I want to be a Cowboy. Oh, no, we're going to let him go to the Ravens and make the scariest rushing duo of all time.
In the words of Toby Keith, should have been a Cowboy.
Should have been a Cowboy. It's painful. I wanted my boys to do.
He's probably glad he wasn't a Cowboy, so.
Yeah.
What's that? I wanted my boys to do well.
So, yeah, we all had the Giants last week as a 2. We all can consensusly move them to a 1. Good job, boys.
Look at that. And now we got to talk about the Carolina Panthers, who won a game. They won 2 games now. Is Bryce Young being good? Or is this team mid? All right. I'll go.
They beat a poopy team.
No, they beat a world beater of the New York Giants if this was 2011.
Okay, well, good thing we're 13 years in the future from 2011. We're in 2024. Right.
Oh man!
So we all gave the Giants a 2 last week.
Yeah. I mean, they beat the Saints and they beat the Giants. It's not really saying much. I'm going to keep them at the 2 for right now. This team is until they can win a 3rd game. Maybe I might give them 3, but it's okay. So they're going to play. Oh no! Their next game is.
Oh no!
So they have a bye next week. They got to play against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh jeez!
With the way the Chiefs play, Stu, that's the
the Panthers could beat them.
Bryce Young about to go into Arrowhead and just torch him.
No, it's going to be in Carolina. It's going to be in Carolina.
Oh, exactly. Even better, dude.
Yeah, home field advantage. What else could Bryce Young want?
The way the Chiefs are playing, I don't know.
Hey, spoiler, gentlemen, it's just going to be nothing but Chiefs fans.
The Chiefs are going to get beat by the Bills so bad that they then go out and lose to the Panthers. Bills get the 1 seed, win the Super Bowl. It's going to be
No.
So Bills Lions in the Super Bowl? All right.
Yep. In this situation, the Bills can have one. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen deserves it. I'll keep the Panthers. I'll keep the Panthers at it too. I mean, they're one of 4 teams who have a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs right now, according to NFL.com. Man, let's see. Where are the Panthers at? Their offense they have the second worst scoring offense in the NFC. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard, obviously MVP on that team at the moment. He had 153 rushing yards on Sunday. But when you have Bryce Young at the helm, and then Andy Dalton, he was struggling, not in this past Sunday's game, but the previous week when he started, whichever week it was. Yeah, there's nothing going much. They got to sign Joe Flacco.
Bring back the Flacco.
Well, since Flacco helped out the Browns, Flacco helps out pretty much every team except for the team he's currently playing for, but that's for a later discussion.
Yeah, that's a later discussion on that one. So, Douglas, are you gonna raise up the Carolina Panthers to that 3?
No chance.
What?
I mean, they didn't beat. Like you said, they've beaten 2 of teams that might be lower than them. It's like there were games that they were supposed to win. They won them. Cool. You're not getting a cookie here. You're still a 2. Like you beat the Chiefs, then all of a sudden we might put a 4 on this name.
Yeah.
You didn't know I was considering getting the Panthers a 4 just because of their 2 wins in a row.
No, I think Bryce Young is about to show why he was the number 1 pick, Stu.
Well, sir, your definition of a 2 or our definition of a 2 is teams that are going to get between the 3rd and the 5th overall pick. And yeah, if they're bottom 4 in the league right now, yeah, that's between 3 and 4, fourth overall pick.
All righty, and now we got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, who lost to the Denver.
Now we're going to talk about the Broncos too, because the Chiefs did not
No,
lose.
wait a minute! They blocked the kick just like we blocked the podcast. Let's go!
Honestly, we should be talking about the Chiefs though, because the Chiefs had every right to lose that game.
My God, how did the Chiefs like? I was like thinking, okay, when I was doing the podcast, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna do the podcast. I might be like, okay, you know what? The Chiefs are probably going to get a lower 8. You know what? They lost to the Broncos. You know what? Bygones be bygones. Maybe Douglas is a little bit right. Or maybe, they might just, this is the same Kansas City Chiefs. Nope. Block kicked. Changes everything.
See, here's the thing, Stu. It changes nothing. They're frauds, bro. The Bills about to expose them, but we're talking about the Broncos. The Bills.
They had 80% odds of winning that game, and they blew it.
I mean, it was a chip shot field goal, man. It was 36 yards. Like, I don't know. It just when it counts most, you don't execute. That's a darn shame.
Nope. They had one play, and they blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that defense. But we were going to start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about the Denver Broncos, who have another loss? I believe they have 2. Do they have 2 losses in a row? Yes. Yes, they had 2 losses in a row right now. They would be the number 7 seed and play against the Buffalo Bills in the theoretical playoffs as of right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, so we all gave them a 6 last week. Do I keep them at a 6 because right now they're in the playoffs? But I mean, they were 5-3. They were second in their division 2 weeks ago. And like Doug mentioned earlier, right now it's a toss-up between the Colts, the Bengals, and the Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos they have the upper hand between those 3 teams or amongst those 3 teams because they have a 1-game better record than those 2 other teams. Man, it's tough. I mean, they should have won that game. They should have beat technically the best team in the NFL. So, yeah, the way they're playing currently, I guess, yeah, I mean, they had more touchdowns in the game than the Chiefs did. I'll keep them at a 6. I mean, who do let's see, next week? Next week, the Broncos play the old – where are they at?
Broncos country, let's ride. They're playing against the Falcons.
Oh, the Falcons. That should be a good game. So, yeah, we might have a different number for them coming next week. But, yeah, currently keep them at a 6 because they are making the playoffs, and they should have beat the number 1 team in the league.
All righty, Douglas. What is your
quotes
thoughts?
Round number 1 team in the league.
What's your thoughts about the Denver Broncos somehow losing this game?
I mean, just a shame. It's one of those games too that like would have been a kind of culture setter for the Broncos, and instead it's just the latest, Chiefs winning their game in a crazy way. It just shows that heart's like that champion's heart type of thing, And it's also it shows that they're not used to those big moments yet. And that's what bad teams do, is they let these moments overcome them. Pretty rough ending for sure. Like they
also the offensive line decided to give a pretty rough moment. I'm just saying there was no blocking in that kick. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like it was bad. I mean, and like granted, I'm not going to have 7 playoff teams in the AFC. I'm going to give them a 5. Because like somebody's got to make it, but like it's a bunch of 500 teams, and like there's 3 teams that are there with like roughly the same odds to make the playoffs. And like if I could, I think that the Bengals have the better shot. I think the Bengals but I don't know. I'm gonna give them a 5 though.
Wow. So you don't even think they deserve to make the playoffs if you're like that 5?
I mean, it's not that they don't deserve it. Like it was a good performance, but like at the end of the day, you gotta win it. Like I don't know. I don't trust this squad.
All right. We got the Denver Broncos. Broncos country. Let's ride. I feel. I think I'm more leaning towards more Christopher because you know what, they would still make the postseason, and I don't think the Broncos are like that bad where it's like I don't think they deserve. Like I feel like for me that 5, in my opinion, is more of the division is really bad, or I don't think if it wasn't for like if if they were anywhere else, if they were in the NFC, they would not make the postseason because the AFC is so weak. That's why they made the postseason. So I feel like for right now, the Broncos, unfortunately, I'm going to give them 6 missed field goals.
6 missed field goals. That's great.
Hey, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
Yes. All righty. And now
on to the reigning champions of your
9-0. It is crazy to think they would still get the bye. They are 9-0. They still somehow survive with their chinny chin chin. I mean, it is still crazy that the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they barely somehow beat every single team, that they're still good and they still make it. This is why the Chiefs are good. This is why the defense is good. I honestly say, and I'm going to still argue this, as long as you have the 3 pillars of fire, of greatness of the Chiefs, as long as you have A, Patrick Mahomes still there, B, Andy Reid still coaching, and C, the defense still being as dominant as it should be, then I'm going to still keep him at the 9 right now. I know Douglas probably disagrees.
You already know, Stu.
You already know, but I still think they can make the Super Bowl, and Douglas is going to have to eat his words.
So, Stu, I'm not saying they can't. Here's my stance. Next week, no matter what, they're moving. They will not be an 8 for me again next week. They're either going to win against Buffalo and be a 9, or they're going to lose and they're going to be a 7.
All right. Let's
and Stu, I even disagree with you, but I can't move my number because they won that game. I had them at a 9 last week. I have them at 9 this week. I was definitely expecting them to have more of a offensive production. Nonetheless, I know the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league, so it makes sense that game was pretty much boring. But yeah, for them only have 1 touchdown, it was from one of the better tight ends in the league, and Travis Kelce. I was expecting there to be a little bit more of action, but next week, let's see. Yeah, Doug, like you said, we got the Chiefs and the Bills. And that is in, that's a 4:25 game. It's in Buffalo. So, like Doug said, I wish I could have moved the Chiefs down this week because they should have at least 3 losses under their belt, but they're still 9-0, so I'm going to keep them at a 9.
Yeah, and like this might be a bold prediction because like I'm just being a hater right now. I think once this team loses, I think they're going to lose a lot. Like I think they're going to get into a funk. Like this just seems like the type of team. It feels kind of like the Eagles a couple years ago, Stu, when they were like 8-0, and then they collapsed. Like I have a prediction this will be similar. Like that team, you said it the whole year, Stu, and I'm like, dude, they're great, and then they collapsed. And so like you got to tell me, I told you so on the Eagles that year, and I'm gonna do it, and I told you so from this moment on the Chiefs this year when they end up losing 3 or 4 games down the stretch, falling to the 3 or 4 seed, maybe losing to Jim Harbaugh and the whatever that team, the other LA team out there,
LA Chargers.
So I don't know. So I'm gonna give them an 8. It's a reluctant 8 because they might be the 3rd best team in the AFC. We'll see this week.
All right, I will tell you this:
we're at 13 right now. It's right now,
and I will say this. Kansas City Chiefs had a bad spot in last year. They had a couple losses. They lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Raiders at one point. But then they came back and won Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. So I can't deny them out.
That's great.
Wow. You cool story, bro, with me right now? How dare you?
That was last year.
Oh, my God. Now we got to talk about the Washington Commanders losing the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-27. A close game, a good game, but unfortunately, it was not the Commanders. So we'll start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about the Washington Commanders loss? And also, I will say they would be, I believe, are they not in the? They would be Ow. Yeah, they would be the wild card, and they would play against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, just like the Broncos, the Commanders should have won that game. Yeah, let's see what we got here. The 7-2 Steelers pulled out a win. Well, 6-2 at the moment, make them 7-2. Yeah, Jane Daniels looked good. Let's see what else we had going in that game. Let me pull it up real quick. Actually, Jane Daniels did not look good. I apologize. He was 50% throwing, which is still good. He didn't have a touchdown. Or maybe he had a rushing touchdown. No, not even that. Wow. It was Austin Eckler with 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown. Dang. Yeah, Commanders should have won that game, but they were playing a powerhouse in the Steelers. Last week, Stuart, you and I gave him a 7. Doug gave him a 6. They'd be playing the Falcons. I still think that they could pull out a win against the Falcons.
I definitely think so.
Yeah, the way they played was hard fought. But yeah, the Steelers just proved who deserved it more. So I'm going to keep the Commanders at a 7 because I feel like if they play the Falcons in the postseason right now, Commanders could walk away with a win.
All right,
Did you say that I gave them
Yeah, you gave them an 8.
Oh yeah, 8. Yeah, I thought the 6. I thought the 8 was a 6. Yeah, you're right. It's an 8.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I was like, man, I thought I was the highest on the Commanders.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
No, yeah, I'll drop them to a 7. Only because I think we'll learn a ton in this game against the Eagles.
Thursday night.
That's going to be huge.
That's going to be a good game. I can't wait.
It's huge. Okay. Winner of that is in control for the NFC East. Huge.
You know what? You have a terrible, dreadful Trump impression. I got the best Trump impression right there. This game is going to be with the Commanders and Eagles. It's going to be the greatest game of all time. It's going to be huge, fantastic. And you know what? I am going to give the Commanders a 7 just because, you know what? Falcons, you look pitiful, dreadful. Just saying.
That was a great
So
impression.
I had to do it.
That was right up there with Shane Gillis. I love Shane Gillis' impression.
Yes. Yes. Just
Very nice, Stu. Very nice.
yes. We don't be political, but I had to do it once. I had to do it.
Respect.
Now we're gonna start with you, Douglas. The Pittsburgh Steelers have won another game. They're looking good. They have now won, as of right now, 5 games in a row. No, 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And they're on a win streak, and they beat a good opponent with the Washington Commanders. So we'll start with you, Douglas. What is your thoughts about the Steelers? They would be the 3rd seed, and they would play against the Chargers.
Well, they're really starting to impress me, man. That's for sure. Like this team, it's kind of a shame that they're in the AFC because there's so many teams that like they're maybe the 3rd or they're maybe the 4th best team, like at best, but they can prove themselves this weekend. So like if they beat the Ravens, we're having a whole different discussion, Like, are the Steelers the best team in the AFC? Right now, they're not. So we'll give them a solid 7. Like, I think that they would beat the Chargers, but I don't think they could beat the other 3 powerhouses. But we'll see.
I just got to say, I would kill to have Mike Tomlin as my head coach for the Cowboys. I'm just saying.
Who are you going to kill, Stu, for him?
Oh, I would sacrifice all my future children.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
Don't ever watch this.
Yeah, right.
Yes. No, I would not do that. No. Or would I? No, I'm just kidding. No, I would. I feel like the Steelers are looking amazing. Tomlin should get Coach of the Year. Hands down. I think, honestly, who do you think is, the best Coach of the Year? Should get Coach of the Year. Wouldn't you disagree? It should be Tomlin?
Andy Reid.
Yeah, everything I've seen says he's a heavy favorite.
No, who's the coach of the Eagles? I forgot his name.
Nick Sirianni? No.
Well, I mean,
no.
I mean, the way the Eagles are performing, maybe even also, I know that they have the Rookie of the Year at the moment. Whoever the Commanders' head coach is. But.
Yeah. So, but honestly, I would pick as Mike Tomlin. This is why he's still the longest head coach. This is why they have not had a losing record. When was the last time the Steelers had a bad season, bad record?
Whenever Tomlin was not the head coach.
Yeah, it had to be before 05. Like, it's been that long. My God. So, Steelers, I'm going to give them 7 Iron City beers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No.
I was looking at something online yesterday. Maybe it was this morning, doesn't matter. You know how Russell Wilson had Let's Ride in Denver? So Pittsburgh, they're the Steel City. So when you have steel, you weld steel together. So you have Russell Wilson, Let's Weld. Russell Wilson, he's welding over there. 3 touchdowns this past week. What more can you ask from a quarterback? George Pickens looked amazing. Read something today that he might be. Well, he's the top wide receiver on their team, but he could be up there with top 10 wide receivers at the moment. And they play the Chargers in the playoffs if the playoffs start today. So I'm agree with you, gentlemen, and I don't think they would lose to the Chargers. So yeah, give them a 7. Because like Doug said, they're a top 4 team in the AFC, but they're certainly not a top 3.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting. And now, speaking of which, of teams that have been back to the mid, maybe back to the basement, the Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Minnesota Vikings 12-7. What a glorious, good game.
That was the worst game of this past week.
Do you know who started for the Jaguars this week? Mac Jones.
Macaroni Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones. So is Trevor Lawrence out, or I'm assuming they did not bench him.
Yeah, I think he hurt his ankle or something.
Okay, and how
they need him back.
They need him back.
Mac Jones did not do well.
Yeah, they should have won this game. Like, as pathetic as this game was, they probably should have won it.
Honestly, I agree with that. This game was disgusting, and not in a good way.
No, not a good way. No, Douglas.
Not in a good way.
No. What did you give last week to the Jaguars?
We all gave the Jaguars a 2. We all agreed on it.
All right. Now, this is a good question. The Jaguars they should have won this game. They are the worst team in the AFC. Do they deserve the 1 or do they deserve the 2? We got to think about it.
Great question. Because, I mean, it's kind of between them and Las Vegas. It's like Las Vegas had a bye, and I think you guys both gave them the 2, and I gave the Raiders the 1.
Oh, I should let you know. December 22nd, we got a game. The Vegas is having Jacksonville in Vegas.
Oh, thank goodness.
The toilet bowl of the season.
I don't remember this many toilet bowls ever in a season. Like, I feel like every week there's a toilet bowl for the number 1.
That's right. For next year, we got to have a graphic and a noise, like a toilet, like a flushing toilet. Whenever we talk about the toilet bowl.
Oh my God!
We got to celebrate futility. I saw a Pat McAfee interview where his secret to success was they wanted to be able to enjoy sports. They didn't want to be negative. So we got to celebrate the terribleness of these games.
It's the greatest game, and like I said, I'm telling my grandkids that this was
like the Giants. I forgot how the Giants even played. The Panthers-Giants, man. Like, it was terrible, but like Chris said, so went to overtime. Like, it was a great game.
And that's what the people want.
Exactly.
They want overtime. They want more football. Like, I celebrated that game. I was asleep for half of it. I still celebrated it.
I mean, I watched a great football game when it was the Raiders versus the Vikings, and it was so great. They went to overtime, nothing, and it wasn't until the last 3 seconds when the Vikings scored a field goal to score it with 3-0.
That's how football should be. I was a huge fan of the LSU Alabama 6-9 game. Like, what a legendary game. I know about field goals.
All right, Douglas, what is your final rating on the Jacksonville?
I'll give them the 1, and like they have to go into Detroit this weekend. Like, it's only getting worse from here. Like, you should have beat the Vikings.
Would you feel if the Jaguars beat Detroit?
Oh man, if Goff throws 5 more interceptions, they might. It's great.
Oh my God! I think you would literally break my TV. I think if that happens.
Somehow Goff went from serious MVP candidate to afterthought in one game. 5 interceptions. You went from great TD to interception ratio to whatever that is. Horrendous. You're almost at the league lead now with 1 game.
All right. I guess it's my turn. The Jacksonville Jaguars look awful. garbage. It is so funny that I literally picked this team to make the postseason, and I gave them a 7. I thought they were going to win a playoff game. Boy, was I wrong. And also, the funniest thing is, so did you hear the press conference when Doug Peterson talked about when Mac Jones threw an interception? And basically, he was like, I'll like, why did they have the interception? And he was like, well, you guys wouldn't understand the play. What?
Going off that tangent, Sue, I forgot what quarterback it was. I think it was a rookie quarterback. And they're like, why'd you throw the interception? And the quarterback goes, because I threw it to the other team.
Yeah.
That's good. A good explanation right there.
Yes. And Doug Peterson is about to get fired. I have not been impressed with Doug Peterson as a head coach. I think, honestly, that Super Bowl win when he was the Eagles, I feel like it's a fluke. It was nothing to do with Doug Peterson. And I feel like in Jacksonville,
they still have their Super Bowl though, right?
And you know what they did? You know what they did to Doug Peterson after 3 years, after they won the Super Bowl? You know what they told him? They were like, "Get out, leave, never come back. Don't hit the door when the rear end ends."
If this team's any example, Stu, it's easy to see why. Good grief, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
it was a foreshadowing.
It is a foreshadowing, and I'm going to give them one sad Jaguar fan.
Wah, wah, wah.
And I'll keep it short and simple. Give me a 1 as well for the Jags. If you hold a team to not be able to score a touchdown, which the Jaguars did to the Vikings didn't score a single touchdown, and you still lose the game. Yeah, you deserve to lose. You deserve to be a 1. So yeah.
Yeah, we live in a world. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just that bad. And now we got to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. So I guess I will go first right now. So the Minnesota Vikings, this is an awful game. This is an ugly game. Honestly, this makes me think, is this team like kind of getting mid right now? They would play against the Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
What did I give them last week, Christopher? Just wanted to ask.
We all gave them a 7.
I don't know. They could beat the Cardinals, man.
I don't think they could beat the Cardinals. Should we? Oh, I know they won a game.
Huh.
But
I mean, Cardinals are looking hot. So
Cardinals are looking hot, number 1. I know we have rules.
Yeah, buddy.
But rules should be broken. And also, number 2, you barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are a 1. You should be dominating against this team. You should be just demolishing this team.
Agree.
And I think for that, I'm going to change it up. We're changing the rules. I'm giving them the 6 for right now. I feel like
wants to. Okay. Yeah.
I'm moving them down, honestly, just because of that one. I honestly think it's an ugly win, and I'm just not impressed. You should be dominant. I think, honestly, if you're a 7 team and you're doing really good, you should be like dominating against these 1 teams.
So you're making me feel bad if somehow the Jaguars beat the Lions. You're making me feel real bad right now.
Yeah, right. Put those last
I'm rolling out of the 6 for the Lions. If they do that, I'll be like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, last week we all gave him a 7. I'm gonna keep him at a 7. That was a poor performance. I know the 1 touchdown or the 1 interception was in the end zone to Justin Jefferson. The other interception, or one of the other 3 interceptions that Darnold had, was to Justin Jefferson. So he's looking at the right guys when it comes to targets. But maybe the Jaguars just stepped in front of the ball at the right time. I didn't see the interceptions, but I knew what they were like, who they were to, where they were at. But I'm gonna keep them at a 7 because. Yeah, if they play the Cardinals, man, that should be a good game, especially in Arizona. But I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I decrease them from a 7 to a 6.
All right.
So good luck.
I'll sleep just fine. Give them a 6.
Like,
I think we're seeing more of the reason Sam Darnold has bounced around the league here lately. Like, I don't know, man. Like, ever since that Lions game, because I think they lost the week after. So, like, that's how they got their second. Like, they lost back-to-back, and then they almost lost a 3rd straight to this team. it's like I don't know, man. Like I don't know what their schedule looks like, but it's just kind of I don't have a lot of optimism right now in the way the Cardinals are looking.
All right. So their
I don't
next
know,
three
man.
games, next 4 games, they would play against at Tennessee, at Chicago, play against the Cardinals, and play against the Falcons.
There we go. There's the matchup right there. The Cardinals. Woo!
Let's go.
So the Vikings should win those next 2. They should be 9-2 going into. Is that game in Arizona still?
Oh man,
no, it's in Minnesota.
There we go.
That would be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And then also speaking of more disappointing teams, the Atlanta Falcons lost to the New Orleans Saints 20-17. What happened, man? I thought this team was good. I thought Kirk Cousins. Why did he throw an interception? What happened? We're gonna start with you, Douglas. What's your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons, who would still make the postseason?
Well, I think I told you a couple podcasts ago that for whatever reason, this team can only beat up on like bad defenses. But like they were playing the Saints. So, like, what in the world? Like this is a really alarming loss. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're lucky that they beat the Buccaneers twice and they got to play them without Godwin and Evans the second time. Because, like, I don't know. I mean, they're 2 games up in their division. But, like, when I look at the playoff teams, like, they look like the worst playoff team to me. Like, I wouldn't pick them to beat really any of the other playoff contenders, but, like, they still would be in. So, by rule, they're a 6.
Oh, we got some 6s. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Stuart, you gave him a 7 last week, and Doug and I agreed on a 6.
I honestly don't think they're going to beat the Commanders. I don't think they could beat the Commanders. I think this team's going down. This is getting to 6. If this division gets bad, I think I should lower them down to the 5. But it's like, I just don't feel like this Atlanta Falcons team is just looking that good. You should beat the Saints. The Saints are not good. They only had 2 wins for this game. And it was a crummy Cowboys team and a crummy Panthers game. And you lay an egg? Like, honestly, that's no excuse. Honestly, you should have done a lot better right now. So, all right, Christopher, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll keep them at a 6. They'll make the playoffs, especially because they have a 2-game lead on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, what did they do this past week? I think that was
lost on the 49ers.
Yeah, that was a close game, uneventful for the most part. But a loss is a loss. Falcons still have a 2-game lead in that division. They would be making the playoffs, but yeah, they'd be losing the Commanders if that's who they're going to play in the playoffs. So yeah, easy 6. I mean, the run game was there, but their pass game was not there. So
yeah,
you got to get the whole picture going.
Yes, and now we live in a world where the New Orleans Saints decided to win a game against the Atlanta Falcons.
And we all gave the Saints a 1 last week.
And Derek Carr is back, baby. 2 touchdowns for Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go.
Even though it was not really a close game-ish, and they just got a garbage time touchdown by B. John Robinson. But we're going to start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts of the New Orleans Saints, who are now 3-7, and they finally won a game after 5 weeks of loss after loss after loss?
Yeah, easy move them up from a 1 to a 2 because, like we said earlier, a 2 is a team that finishes what they would have between a 3rd and 5th overall pick in this upcoming draft, and that's where they would sit at. Alvin Kamara, ever since he signed that extension, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, he has not scored a touchdown. So, yeah, it was by, I guess, the grace of God that Derek Carr threw 2 touchdowns to Marquise Valdez-Scantling for 2 touchdowns. Saints had no reason to be in that game or to win it, but they won it, and a win is a win.
All right, Douglas, what is your thoughts about the New Orleans Saints?
I think Chris nailed it right there. Like, it was kind of fun to see them win a game, cause some chaos in the NFC South, but they're 2. Like, they're bad. They got rid of their coach already, right? Did they fire their coach?
Yeah, they fired their coach, I believe, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so like I don't know, they're shaking things up early. They're just not a good football team.
Oh my goodness, what would happen if the New Orleans Saints make the postseason?
Well, that'd be an amazing feat because they have a 2% chance of making it.
How funny if everyone else collapses and the New Orleans Saints make the postseason. I would lol so hard.
I mean, with that division they're in, it's a possibility. So yeah, don't count them out. Even
My
though
God.
I would
What
count
if
them out.
Carolina Panthers make the postseason? Oh my God. What if we want chaos?
Big division win for sure.
Bryce Young making a playoff game. What a world. Anyway, New Orleans Saints, they did beat the. I am kind of contemplating, should I give them the 3?
Ooh,
Dude, just because they did win it,
that's
but then
a big step up, Stu. Remember, they did lose 5 straight games.
they did lose 5 straight games. And they're on the same spot as the Cowboys, but then
Didn't they beat the Cowboys head to head?
Yeah, they did beat the Cowboys head to head, so I got to give them the 2.
Man, what a conundrum.
Yeah, what a conundrum. I think this team's okay is bad. Not impressed with this team. I think they should have gotten the 1 last week. I guess you beat a good. Honestly, I think this is more of a damning record for the Falcons than how good the Saints are. Yeah. I mean, granted, Derek Carr's back. Maybe Derek Carr can change the ship around, but I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And now we got the 49ers beating the Buccaneers in a field goal kick. And unfortunately, unlike what happened in Denver, the Buccaneers couldn't stop the field goal kick, losing this game 23-20. So we're going to start with myself. What do I think about the Buccaneers? We're now 4-6, not making the postseason, and is ranked 12th. Ugh.
We all gave them a 5 last week.
They're not a 5 this week. They're not a 5. I think I'm going to put them down to the 4. Granted, it was a close game, but still, I think you should have won this game. You had to play against a weak 49ers team, but they couldn't do it. So I think there's going to be no postseason for either the 49ers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as of right now. Mark my words. Let's put it right there.
All right.
As much as I would love to see Baker Mayfield in the playoffs, yeah, it's a direct correlation. I'm losing Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, two of the top wide receivers in the league this season when they got injured. Yeah, like I said, it's hand in hand with what they're doing. And let's see, they've lost 4 in a row. So yeah, they started the season 4-2. My goodness. So yeah, put them down to a 4. Next week, the Buccaneers are playing they're playing the bye week, so they can't lose and they can't win.
No, they're playing against a tough opponent, the New York Giants.
I was going to say, I think their bye week's at the right time, Like, you've been really competitive. You took the Chiefs to overtime, last-second field goal against the Niners. Yeah, Baker's a fighter, man. Can't take anything away from him, but this team's a 4. Without their receivers, man, like, you got to actually win the game still. The NFL, no moral victories. You still lost. And your playoff odds are looking pretty slim.
No, I don't think the Buccaneers. I think, honestly, that's a good question. Do you think any team below the Buccaneers or at a similar spot will make the postseason? I honestly don't think. Yeah, I think every other team I don't think is going to make the postseason. I think I'm including the Buccaneers and the Seahawks in that list. And now we got to talk about the 49ers, who won a game. They're technically the 8th seed. They would not make the postseason, but they're still fighting. I don't know how I feel about this, but we're going to start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about the San Francisco 49ers?
Last week, Sue gave him a 4. Doug and I gave him a 5. I mean, hey, they won. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, who was not that big of an impact on his return, but they squeaked out a win. George Kittle looked good. Don't have the stats in front of me. Let me pull them up real quick. Yeah, Brock Purdy 2 touchdowns, so he's looking good as well. Yeah, a win is a win. They would just barely miss the playoffs. I mean, they have a tough division, right? Because they have the Cardinals who are looking good, 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and like you just said, Stu, Seahawks are more than likely going to miss the playoffs. Rams, they got they lost last night, right, to the Dolphins, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was by like
I think the 49ers are going to come back and win this division. But right now, they're in second place in the division. And, keep them at a 5. It's hard to do that, though, especially with CMC back. But let's see who the 49ers are playing next week. They got the Seahawks at home in San Francisco, Santa Clara. Should be a win for the 49ers. So, we'll revisit that 5 next week. So, 5 for me.
All right, Douglas. What are your thoughts about the 49ers?
I'm going to go with the 5 as well. They lost the Cardinals already once. And, I don't know, man. The Cardinals look like a better team than them to me right now. The Cardinals are clicking more. There's just something about this Niners team. There's some teams that just don't quite click, And, I don't know if it's Brandon Ayuk out for the year. Debo looks like he's not really doing anything special. Granted, that Ricky Purcell guy, he's doing some stuff. And, that was kind of fun to see. And, CMC, they'll make a push. But, I really like what the Cardinals are doing. And they have the lead in the division. And, right now, they're in second place in their division.
Yeah, and I am thinking that I need to put the San Francisco 49ers at a 5. I'm going to put it – look at that. We got 5 Christian McCaffreys right now for the San Francisco 49ers. And I just feel like they're just they're doing okay. They are making that postseason. I still feel 50-50. Now, it's going to be interesting since Chris McCaffrey is going to be back. Will he be like the old Chris McCaffrey of last year, or is he going to just kind of be like a washed-up version of Chris McCaffrey? Time will tell.
Well, Stu, because I play in fantasy this week, I hope for the washed-up version.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm going to put Chris McCaffrey. He's going to score.
That means you play Stu this week? Woo-hoo!
7 TDs, and we're going to win the Super Bowl, baby.
Don't even look at your lineup, man. You're already out of the playoffs. Just let it.
I know.
Yeah, Stuart, bench him.
I know. Yeah. I know. Our season's
we have white flags, Stu.
Yeah, come on. So trade him away.
I should have traded Chris McCaffrey in week 4 and week 2, and I would have gotten a great steal out of that.
Oh, yeah. That would have been the move for sure.
Oh, man. Because then everyone thought he was going to be out for
you offered a really good package for him?
No, it was not a great, but like I said, it would have been a great steal because it's he would have been out for week 9. So it would have been Curse would have gotten screwed over.
Would you have gotten H-Chan or somebody cool?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Oh, man. What a shame.
And what a shame on that one. But speaking of what a shame, we got the Buffalo Bills beating up on some Indianapolis Colts. And unfortunately, there's no revolvers on these Colts right now, losing 30-20. Joe Flacco, unfortunately, became a pumpkin this game, unfortunately, even though this is not Halloween. But we're going to start with you, Christopher, since you love Joe Flacco so much.
Wacko for Flacco.
Yeah, let's go.
So last week, I gave the Colts a 5. Stuart, you gave him a 5. And Doug gave him a 4. Oh, man. That's an easy digression right there. Well, it's not easy, but because they're still the 8th seed. But, yeah, they lost. Man, so let's see. I guess I could keep him at a 5 because, besides what Flacco had a pick 6, I do believe, pick 6 to begin the game. Well, not right off the rip, but the first series for the Colts threw a pick 6.
Do you know what's crazy?
Is Anthony Richardson out for the season?
I think they've given up on him. I don't know.
Okay, so Flacco's going to be in for the remainder of the season. Gotcha. I'm sorry, Doug. What were you about to say? You said something. I don't know, something crazy.
A low-key, man, really interesting game this week is the Colts at the Jets. Because, as terrible as the Jets have been, with how bad the 7th seed in the AFC is, the Jets all of a sudden win this game, and they're in contention, and the Colts have a really good chance to hang around that 7th seed too, kind of a pretty important game here under the radar at 1 p.m.
So we'll start with you.
Well said.
I'll give them a 4 still. This team, I just don't have faith in this team. I think you both were shocked last week when I gave them the 4, and I kind of feel, they were playing a really good Bills team, so it's hard to really think much about it. But, I don't know, man. Flacco's turning the ball over a lot. He's with what Flacco's doing. I'm like, man, oh man, at least with Richardson, there were some explosive plays and there's more of a running thread. I don't know. I'd prefer to go with Richardson and give him a chance to develop over what Flacco turning the ball over a lot.
And copycatting off that, yeah, you're right. I mean, this game should have been 30-13 final score. And I should have put them at a 4, but they're just missing the playoffs. They have a good, like you said, Doug, a big matchup this week against the Jets. Because that garbage time touchdowns with 2 seconds left to Alec Pierce.
Did they beat do they have like a head-to-head with the Bengals or something?
Let me see.
No, they don't. Because they're ahead of the Bengals, but I don't know what the tiebreaker is. Because I would definitely take Cincinnati over the Colts any day.
They do play the Broncos, and we had that little discussion earlier with those 3 teams, or Broncos, the Bengals, and the Colts. So yeah, they play the Broncos on December 15th, so that should be a good one for sure. Yeah. And honestly, the Colts have an easy schedule, so they can easily make the playoff push. Like you said, Doug, good matchup against the Jets. Well, it's gonna be a tough one against the Lions, but then you got the Patriots, the Titans, the Giants, the Jaguars, and then mixed in with the Broncos. So yeah, the Colts could make a playoff push here.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And like I said, I feel like I disagree with you, Douglas. I'm still gonna keep them at the 5. Just because you know what?
I just don't see what you guys see in this team.
Because I know. Okay, I know they lost to the Bills by 10, but it's Flacco fever. I still have a bad place.
What's the fever? Turnover fever?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Last year with the Browns, I could see the fever because Flacco's lighting it up and winning games, but he's losing games and throwing picks. What am I to be excited about?
Hey, they still have a shot of making the postseason.
Yeah, I'm only going my 5 based on where they're currently seated in the.
So basically, this is just seeding with an extra flavor. If that's what you guys are doing,
it'll definitely be different next week for sure.
If anyone wants to do a wager of the week, I think I would take the Jets to beat the Colts this week. If anyone wants you guys are confident in the Colts, somebody bet me $5 on it. I think the Jets will beat the Colts this week.
I don't know. I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers.
Well, then be confident. Follow your Flacco fever, brother.
Yeah, Stuart.
All right, so you pick the Jets. On that because I don't think it would change.
Dude, did you just watch how bad the Jets looked? That's what I'm saying. The Jets have just lost 31-6. I think they're going to beat this Colts team pretty confidently for some reason.
Wow.
I could see that happening, to be honest with you. All right. Is that in New York or East Rutherford, New Jersey? Which one?
It's in New Jersey. The Jets are 4-point favorites, actually. So I'd be good.
You know what? I'll put it. Let's do a $5 bet on that. Oh, you know what? Drinks. Whoever wins this one got to buy somebody a drink. Nice drink.
All right, Stu, that's fine.
A beer. All right, so Doug, you picked the Jets. Stuart, you picked the Colts for a beer at the bar.
Too bad the game's on Sunday and not Saturday.
Yeah,
I know. We could have done it on a Sunday.
So I say, are you guys gonna do $5 then, or what?
I would a nice beer. $8.
That's fine.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to get that. Thank you for that nice crispy $8 beer. And speaking of teams that looked really good. Now I guess I'll start with you, Christopher.
Sure. How about we talk about the Bills, shall we? Let's not jump around here.
Oh, whoopsie. Are you talking about the Buffalo Bills? Oh, wait a minute. I am so sorry. Buffalo Bills. They are technically the 2nd seed. They are looking good. I guess we'll start with you, Christopher. What's your thoughts?
We all gave them a 7 last week, and I'll stick with a 7 because I already gave my 8 and my 9 away. Can't have 3 teams in the AFC Championship game. So yeah, easy for a 7, even though they're a top 3 team in the AFC for sure.
Right.
For me, if they win this week, they're the 8, but for now they're the 7. If they flip flop with the Chiefs, if they win, the winner of this game's the 8, the loser's the 7. Plain and simple. You're playing for your number this week.
All right. Here's what I gotta say, gentlemen. If you think I have Flacco fever, I don't.
Well, good thing we're not talking about the Colts anymore.
I know we're not going to talk about the Colts anymore because you know why? I'm giving the Buffalo Bills an 8. I think this team looks a lot better. I think this team could beat the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is probably the second highest team.
You gave the Ravens earlier, Stu.
What?
What'd you give the Ravens earlier?
7.
Wow. Well, that's right. He did give them the Ravens the 7. I was surprised by that.
The only logic I'll have to defend this is a pretty obvious one. 35-10 is how badly the Ravens beat this Bills team.
But I will also say that was like week 3. And I think this is a different Buffalo team. This team is going to
they can prove that this week against the Chiefs. Blow out the Chiefs by 7+. That'd be another. That's my other prediction of the week. Buffalo will win by 7+ against the Chiefs.
Oh my God! You're putting money on the stocks on the Buffalo Bills?
Oh, maybe. I mean, they might be a strong one, even though they're a 7. If I'm saying guaranteed win and they jump up a point, can make a quick $1 or $2, just like my Dogecoin this week. To the moon.
To the moon, baby. Let's go.
Let's go to the moon, baby.
Up to 43 cents. Oh, hey, it's looking good.
That's why you got to have the Dogecoin, man. The Dogecoin all the way.
To the moon, man. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, gentlemen. And now we got to talk about, speaking of teams that are going to the moon, we got to talk about your favorite team, Christopher, that you love right now, the Chicago Bears. Losing.
Oh, heck yeah.
Losing absolutely gobsmacked, probably the second worst ass whooping of the week. 19-3. We'll start with you, Christopher. Is Caleb
short and simple? We all gave the Bears a 5 last week, which is very surprising, but they're probably on a winning streak of some sort.
Yeah.
No, they had lost.
Yeah. No, they're on the 3-game
They
losing
lost
streak.
the Cardinals by like 20.
Yeah, they lost to Washington, I think, on that Hail Mary, and then they lost to the Cardinals.
They lost 3 in a row. That's like an
So as you guys know, I gave Caleb Williams the bust at the beginning of the season. He's starting to look like that. I mean, maybe their offensive line is terrible, but he got sacked 9 times on Sunday. Didn't throw any touchdowns. It's a home game. You should be able to excel against the Patriots. So from a 5 down to they would just barely miss the playoffs, but that's not how they're playing. I mean, they're last in their division. I know that's the toughest division in the league, but I mean, they could bounce back next week. Are they even playing next week? Yeah, they're playing. They are playing they're playing the Packers. I mean, it's a home game. I won them from a 5 to a 4 this week because they just played like absolute garbage. You can only score 3 points at home. That's a problem. And a huge
their
problem.
schedule, holy crap, the schedule sucks. They play the Packers, Vikings, 49ers, Vikings, Seahawks, Packers.
They might end up as a 1. Well, we'll see.
Oh my God.
I don't think a team with 4 wins could end up as a 1, but they could go winless the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't be shocked, man. I mean, pretty easy 4. They have 4 wins. But, I mean, Caleb Williams, he's looking busty, Stu. He's looking real busty.
All right. Okay. Here's my opinion. A bust, in my opinion. We're going to have this. I think a bust is 2 years.
So, Stu, before you continue, how early were you calling Bryce Young a bust last year? In the middle of the season, perhaps?
Okay.
So why was Bryce Young different than Caleb Williams?
Because at least Caleb Williams won a couple of good games.
But did he, though, Stu? His defense did. What did Caleb Williams contribute?
To the Tennessee Titans. Remember that pick 6?
Yes. Yeah, you didn't know Caleb Williams basically had that pick 6 on the off field, and that's how it happened.
And Stu, like these 9 sacks, it's not like, I mean, some of it's the offensive line, but the dude just isn't throwing the ball. He's not making reads. He's not quarterbacking well. Like, he is not helping this team. Justin Fields would be a better quarterback for this team, hands down.
So are you thinking that this trade against the Carolina Panthers and Chicago Bears, that both teams lost?
Well, time will tell. I mean, like you said, Williams has a chance. Like, they're clearly wanting to go all in on him and, like, fire their offensive coordinator and put blame on the coaching. But, like, I don't know, man. That's hard.
Yeah. I mean, granted, they are losing a lot of games. They are at the 9th seed.
What did they say? 21 straight drives without a touchdown, I think. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, they haven't scored in so long. You put up 3 points against the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing here?
It is so funny that you're angry at your rival right now. Your rival team, Chicago Bears.
Stu, in this segment, I put the lines aside. I'm just an unbiased, casual sports talk podcaster.
All right, I'm gonna give him the 4 right now.
Not Doug's Lions.
Honestly, it was more I had to pick because it's like, yeah, you lost 3 in a row. You did lose to the Patriots, and that's not a really good sign, honestly. And
Like,
you
weren't
didn't lose to the Patriots. You lost not decisively, but it looks close. 16 points you lost to. It wasn't a
Well,
good game.
it was in Chicago.
Yes.
Like it was a home game. Like, let's see. Oh my goodness, this team is just rough, man. Like they kicked 3 field goals against. Yeah, like man. I mean, did they even have a touchdown?
No,
Oh,
touchdown.
they did have a touchdown against Washington, so that's good.
Yay. Does that mean we have to give them like the stickers that basically says, congratulations, Chicago, you scored a touchdown. Yay.
Not this week.
Like last year, Justin Fields, like as a Lions fan, I feared the Bears. This year, I'm like, okay. Like, like last year, the Bears blew us out. And like the Lions were a good team last year, and the Bears were, I don't know. Sometimes you can do too much. Just ask the Jets.
Yes, the GETX, Jets, unfortunately. And now we got to talk about we got to talk about the Patriots, who now won a game again. They're coming back. Is this the reincarnation of the Brady era? Since Brady's now gone?
No. They're 3-7.
They're basically in a 3-way tie though for second in their division.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. Yeah. I mean,
who do you
there's only be one team making that playoffs from that division.
He's tied with Tua and Aaron Rodgers. Like, dude, Drake May's amazing.
How would you feel if I told you, yeah, the Patriots are going to be the second best in the AFC North? No, this AFC West.
AFC East.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to laugh. How funny if I told you, yeah, the Patriots are tied for the AFC East at some point in this game. You'd probably be like, man, this Patriots team is coming around. This is changing everything. No,
that's what's about statistics, dude. You can manipulate them, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Patriots, sir. You gave him a 1. Doug and I gave him a 2 last week. Doug, where are you putting him at this week?
I mean, I don't want to jump them up. Like, I'm going to keep them at a 2. Like, this is a team that the week before lost to the Titans. So, like, I don't know. This team is maybe getting better, but Drake May's exciting. Like, I think he's going to have a ton of potential. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. This team's still a ways away from being, like, serious contenders.
Are you telling me that this is not the Belichick Brady era of Super Bowls right now? They're still back.
We are telling you that, Sue. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, OJ Mayo might be a great coach someday, but I mean, I think I saw he's the youngest head coach in the league right now. And with all due respect to him, I'm sure he's a wonderful coach, but he's no like Sean McVay. He's not necessarily coming in and recreating this entire amazing offensive system. Like, he's a wonderful coach, and I'm sure great things will happen there, but not like they're not going to be in the Super Bowl next year or anything.
Wow.
Like, the AFC is just so deep with good quarterbacks. It's going to be so hard in the AFC for the next decade.
I know.
I know if we mentioned this when we were talking about the Bears, but yeah, I just saw that they not just happened, but I just saw they fired their offensive coordinator around 12 noon today. So that's great.
Yeah, because the offensive coordinator was so great at this Patriots game. So yeah, I'm going to give him the 2. I mean, I was contemplating giving them 3, but I was like, wait a minute, hold up. This is against the Bears. This ain't a world beater. I feel like I would give them the 3 if they were beating like the Bills or something like that.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they beat the Rams this weekend, I'll probably give them a 3.
Yeah.
Like, they get the Rams at home, a potentially winnable game, So, like, it could be a good one.
Maybe I could put some stock options.
Yeah, Patriots have a tough schedule coming up. Yeah, they have the Rams, then you have the Dolphins. That should be a marquee toilet bowl matchup possibly. And then you have the Colts, Cardinals, Bills, Chargers, Bills. It's not getting better. It's not getting worse. Actually, it's just getting worse. So, yeah, keep the Patriots at 2, even though they won by 16 at Soldier Field over there in Chicago.
In Chicagoland. Can you believe it? And we are going to talk about the greatest team that we have. The Tennessee Titans played against the LA Chargers. And the Tennessee Titans decided to do great things by losing by 10 points against the Chargers. So we'll start with you, Christopher. What's your thoughts about the great Tennessee Titans and Will Levis?
Well, let's see. We all gave them a 2 last week. We already gave up our 1s this week. Titans certainly are not bottom 2 team, but they are definitely bottom 5 team. Chargers are a tough team. They're 6-3, and now Titans. The Titans aren't even worse in their division because they got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are the 1. I think we gave them 1. It doesn't matter. Or maybe we all gave the Jaguars 1.
Are you gonna
Titans? We all gave them a 2 last week. Keep them right there at a 2 for me.
Are you gonna watch?
Certainly not moving up.
Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch the Titans versus Jaguars game, the greatest football game of all time?
I hope it's in Germany or someplace overseas.
Send this abomination. Send it to Pyongyang, North Korea, just to show them. Like,
yeah.
I think the NFL's really smart with sending these like toilet bowls over to like Europe or other countries, though. Because it's like, all right, so we take these games that Americans are going to pay minimal for. We charge the Europeans probably $200 a ticket and play Country Roads Take Me Home and give them the American experience. And NFL makes money. It's a brilliant, brilliant business plan. The United States doesn't want to watch this type of trash.
Especially at 9:30 in the morning.
You tell me 9:30 you're not watching this game?
Like I put it on if I'm being honest. Like, I just like put it on in the workout room, did some exercise, and watched some mediocre football.
All right, now it's time for you.
I'll keep it squeeze. I can't talk. Two.
Oh my God!
It wasn't even. They didn't actually scored like a BS touchdown to make it close, but like they were getting dominated.
Yeah, they just scored a garbage time touchdown basically. Yeah, they're at a 2. This team's not that good. I don't think it's garbage. Now, will Levis be kicked out? Will he get benched?
Well, he shouldn't, Stu. 18 for 23, 175 yards and 2 TDs. Calvin Ridley looked really nice, so like that was kind of cool. Maybe getting rid of Hopkins kind of opened up Ridley's potential a little bit. Like Ridley, 5 catches, 84 yards, 2 TDs. Will Levis, that was a pretty nice game against what I'm hearing is ranked the number 1 defense in the NFL right now in the Chargers.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Chargers have given up the very fewest points. They've only given up like 118. And everyone else is giving up on average like 140, 150. It's pretty impressive what the Chargers are doing.
I know.
Good segue into the team we're about to talk about.
I know.
Winter, so granted, last year we all know there's controversy around the Wolverines. But everybody's saying that the only reason that their defense was good was they were stealing signs. This coach right here should be proof that that's not what's happening. This guy is a defensive genius, bro. This guy, he had the number 1 rated defense in college last year, jumps to the NFL with a fairly average defense, immediately turns into the number 1 ranked defense in the National Football League. A guy that'll probably be a head coach here super soon. And just an absolute stud, man. Justin Herbert's looking awesome. The Chargers are playing Jim Harbaugh football, and it's beautiful, man. It's hard because there are just so many good teams in the AFC. I'm tempted to give them a 7, though. What did I get last week? Did I give them a 7?
Yeah, but they would play against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We all gave the Chargers a 6 last week.
Yeah, I gotta stay there just because they lost to the Steelers already. So it's I think they could beat them though. If Herbert plays efficient football and they're built very similar to the Steelers right now. That'd be a real fun playoff game for sure.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that. All right, I think you're right, Douglas. This Chargers team is a lot better. Remember when we had our argument preseason? I was wrong.
This was my hot take of this team to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, and we had a legit argument about that. You're right.
Well, and we all trashed the Steelers a lot too, though. So there's some that we all missed, and so I don't know. That's what's fun about this. Me and you were both really wrong on Jacksonville and the Steelers.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. Yeah, that was a terrible take with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, none of us had the Steelers making the playoffs. That's crazy.
We gave them a 4, and look at that.
I thought this 2 QB system would blow up in their face, and to Tomlin's credit, man, he pulled it off.
Yeah, good for you, Tomlin. But I honestly think the Chargers are looking a lot better. They would play against the Steelers, I think, but I still feel like for right now, I still give them the 6. This is definitely a lot better improvement of last year's Chargers, and a lot better coach than last year's Chargers. Harbaugh.
Harbaugh's one of the best, man. Like,
Yeah.
team's kicking themselves that he had to leave. That's for sure.
I want Harbaugh as a Charger. I want Harbaugh as a Cowboy. I'm sorry.
Should have been
Yeah,
a
that
cow.
would have been the move for the Cowboys for sure, man.
Yeah, I will be honest.
I would have hated that so much.
I would have been like, I will forgive all the times he was a Michigan Wolverine to now he's a Cowboy. My God.
Stu, should Deion coach the Cowboys? What do you think? What do you think? Give the world what they want to hear.
Yes. You want me to coach the Dallas Cowboys?
I would love it if Deion coached the Cowboys.
No, I don't want Deion to coach the Cowboys.
No, okay. You wanted Harbaugh.
I mean, it's gonna be we're gonna have to draft Shador, and it's gonna
Would
be
would you take Belichick, Stu? Would you take Mr. Bill?
I would take Belichick. I would take. Oh my God, who would I take? That would be like I would take Tomlin.
Would you take Dan Campbell, Stu?
I would take Dan Campbell. But you know what? We'll probably get something bad, and we'll get like Matt Patricia or something stupid. I will literally like take this chair and throw it out the window if we fucking take Patricia.
Stu, maybe you guys can get Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings there, you know? He said he wants to be a coach again. Number one defense, or well, one of the number one defenses in the league in the Vikings. Why not get a defensive-minded coach?
Nah, I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, Christopher, what are your thoughts?
You guys should look into Jesse Minter, the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator.
I just honestly, you know what? I want the Georgia head coach.
That'd be a good pickup for sure. Kirby knows how to coach, but not this.
Yeah, Kirby's smart.
Kirby's smart.
Is he interested in going to the NFL though?
I don't know.
I mean, if they don't make the playoffs this year, maybe he will be interested in picking up an NFL job. Chargers remain them at a 6. Yeah, right now they play the Steelers. They wouldn't be able to beat the Steelers, in my opinion. We have a big Sunday night game coming up. Chargers play against the Bengals. That might be a top.
Be a good one, like a top offense, top defense. Ooh.
Yeah, and Baker. I just found out that Joe Burrow plays his best ball in the month of November. So yeah, like you said, Doug, top defense.
You know who else loves November, boys? Mr. Jim Harbaugh.
So yeah, it's gonna be a great Sunday night game. Just hopefully as great as this past Sunday night game between those Lions and the Texans.
Yeah. Speaking of great football games, yay!
Hey, here we go.
Aren't you excited? The Cowboys lost 28 points and lost 34-6.
Dude, you know what excites me about this? Tickets just keep getting cheaper and cheaper because nobody wants to go to the game on Monday night.
Yeah, and it's still does it feel good that literally Jerry Jones still gaslights and says that this team is going to have a shot at making the play?
What? What
He still thinks this team's going to make the postseason.
Oh.
What kind of Kool-Aid? What kind of delusion?
Micah Parsons was pretty rough on Mike McCarthy there, it sounds like. Did you guys see that one?
No.
Oh, man. Micah was like, yeah, man, Mike McCarthy can go wherever he wants after the season. He doesn't work as hard as the guys in this building, and, like, just straight blasted Mike McCarthy. Well, so it's like, you know McCarthy's about to go, man. You have Micah calling you out. McCarthy's out the door.
Yeah, and I honestly will say it. I think, for NFL coaches, for your players, if they don't like you, that's one thing. You know what? Chuck Noll and Terry Bradshaw did not get along. But they won Super Bowls together. But he respected him.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't like you and they don't respect you as a head coach and you lost the team, then it's over. Also, we need to talk about the sad news, unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan. Dak Prescott is going to be out for the rest of the year. It looks like it is a torn bone, and it does not look good. He has to have
What torn bone? The damn torn bone over here.
Yes, we got a torn
That's through
bone.
his hamstring, right?
Yeah, it was a hamstring, and it's broken, and it broke the bone.
Yes, everything his body is broken, including his soul for playing with the Cowboys.
How dare you? How dare you? How's it feel that we're both in the basement now? Oh my god! And we
All right,
both
sir,
have.
you gave him a 3 last week. What are you going to do with him this week?
Oh my god! I mean,
28
Rush looked
points.
bad. Cooper Rush looked bad. Ezekiel Elliott looked bad. They fumbled 5 times.
Oh, Stu, I want to thank the Cowboys for that. That saved my fantasy season.
How
Every
did they
single
fumble
fumble
in
was
the
just
goal line?
It was absolute music to my ears every time they fumbled.
We literally did nothing in the postseason, in the preseason. We literally could have gotten King Henry, and we literally could have done something else. But no, we decided to pay Dak over much. We decided to overpay CeeDee Lamb the last minute. Oh, Jerry, you're such a great owner. Oh, my God.
Stu, I will say thank you guys for not signing Derrick Henry because I wouldn't have wanted to watch him play on this team. Like right now, Baltimore is such a good offensive line and system for him to be the NFL like scrimmage yard leader. So like, thank you Cowboys for allowing him to go where he can truly shine and not having to be in that Cowboys toxic culture.
Even Jerry Jones said it himself. He didn't believe that Derrick Henry would be having this great of a season had he been with the Cowboys. So it's like, yeah, like Jerry Jones even agrees that his team isn't that great or
I'm giving him the 2.
not that great for the best running back in the league at the moment.
All right, I'm going to give him the 2. This team, it looks their season's done. We lost a quarterback. I think if Dak would have been gone for the month, and then maybe we could have come back. Maybe I could have been like, okay, maybe I'll give him. No, honestly, no. Even if Dak was back in the month, I'd still give him a 2, just because we lost this badly against our rival at home. At home.
Dude, did you guys know that you have a worse point differential than the New York Giants?
Oh my God. This is honestly, we should just tank.
You're about on par with the Tennessee Titans. So
Yeah.
I think a 2 is the right answer here.
Yes. Christopher, what do you think?
Yeah, the third worst points differential. I mean, the Panthers are blowing people out of the water. Yeah, give me the Cowboys at it too. I mean, we giving out so many 2s. It's crazy, but there's just so many bad teams.
I know.
Like where do we stop with the 2s? You get a 2, you get a 2, you get a 2. But Cooper Rush, he gets a 2 because it's Cooper Rush.
I mean,
yeah, CeeDee Lamb dropped ball in the end zone. I mean, the Cowboys can't really do much of anything at the moment. So easy 2. Easy.
Yeah,
2.
like I don't know how you like. I mean, yeah, they're terrible. Like they're terrible. Like they are borderline unwatchable. Like
Terrible.
I'm gonna go to the game this Monday night when they play the Houston Texans, and I'm honestly wouldn't be surprised if I leave at halftime. Like I just kind of want to see the stadium.
Wow.
CJ Stroud will probably be up 28-3 or something in the first quarter. Like it's gonna be bad, man. I mean, the Texans defense obviously looked pretty decent, forcing the Lions to 5 turnovers, and the Cowboys just had 5 turnovers this past week. So like, I don't know, man. This team, I mean, they were terrible in offense. Like they were historically bad. Like they did nothing.
It was worse.
Yeah, like it was rough, man. I mean, 6 points. Like, is that the second or third straight game that they scored single digits? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right? Like they haven't scored more than 10 points in like 3 weeks.
Incorrect. Actually, they scored 21 against the Falcons, 24 against the Niners. Lions, they scored 9. So every single game besides the Lions and the Eagles, they've scored over double digits, which is very surprising. So
yeah. Thank you for the stat correction. This team's terrible.
We're casual. We're casual.
I just gotta say, like honestly,
casual, just like the Cowboys.
Yeah. Honestly, this has been like the worst Cowboys team I've seen in like forever. I feel like. Honestly, I think 2020 is probably a better Cowboys team than this one.
Well, like at least you expect the Cowboys to at least be competitive. Like to see them literally look so lost. Like I've never like this is like seeing like it feels like you're seeing like Rutgers play against Ohio State. You're like these two teams are on the same like conference. Like the Eagles did whatever they wanted all day long on both sides of the ball. Like so did the Lions. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I just got to be drinking a lot of beers because this team is giving me so much depression right now.
Well, thankfully, Stu, just like that number 2, that's where the Buckeyes are ranked in the college football poll. So you got something to root for at least.
I'll root for the Buckeyes. How about that? We'll watch.
Your Texas Longhorns there at 3. That hopefully will carry the whole state of Texas.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And now we got to talk about the Eagles, and we'll start with you, Christopher. Eagles are technically the 2nd seed. They did curb stomp the Cowboys really badly, and I don't even think they were trying at this point. It was just like that bad. And also, spoiler alert, I didn't even watch the 4th quarter. I was that upset with this game.
I mean, it was hard to watch, Stu. You're down, 28 at that point or something?
Yeah, 28-6.
So Eagles, this is the biggest discrepancy we all had last week. Seward gave the Eagles a 6. Might be a little biased there, but you never know. I gave him an 8, and then Doug gave him a 7. So we're all different. That was the biggest difference we've had. Big Thursday night coming out game for the Eagles against Commanders. That's gonna be an exclamation point. Whoever wins that is gonna really show who is the second best team in the AFC. Eagles destroyed the Cowboys. I gave them an 8 last week. I can't drive off that, so keep the Eagles at an 8 for me. I can see the Eagles and the Lions in the NFC Championship game.
Well, the Eagles Commanders is one of 3 games with like both teams with 3 or less losses. I think. Like that's incredible.
You have the Ravens Steelers. You have the Bills Chiefs, and then you have this game here between the Commanders and the Eagles.
A lot of other super intriguing games with huge implications, but I agree. I think the Eagles are an 8 for me as well. Like, I mean, I think it's kind of the same thing for this one and like that Chiefs-Bills game where if the Commanders win, they're going to get the 8. The Eagles win, they get the 8. But I think Eagles are at home. Their defense is looking awesome. Saquon's looking awesome. Like, they haven't even had to really open up the passing game. They're just doing whatever they want, though. Strong defense, strong run game. Really tough team to beat.
Yeah, I think I would. Do I want to give the Eagles the 8? But I'm looking at their teams they beat. So they beat the Browns by 4. Then they did beat the Giants decently. They beat the Bengals decently. They beat the Jaguars by 5, and then they beat the Cowboys by 28.
Mm-hmm.
And their last lot. I mean, the only thing is they beat
gosh, so biased, dude. Why you're looking for a reason?
At the end of the day, a win is a win.
All right, I'll give them an 8. Fine.
Like you're literally going on the list trying to find an excuse to not give them the 8. They're
an 8. Okay. My Eagles hatred cannot allow this.
I love it, Stu. I love it. You're just looking for a reason.
All right, I might lower them down if they lose the Commanders though, because I do feel like the Eagles have an easier schedule. I mean, they got the Commanders. They got the Rams. They do got to play against the Ravens. That's going to be a tough opponent.
Oh,
Panthers, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. So they got 3 really.
There's some fun games left there. Wow.
Yeah, they got
the Eagles are going to be a fun team here in December.
Yeah, I'm so happy about it. Yay.
We get to see the Cowboys play at the Eagles still. That's going to be great.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Wow. I can't. Now we got to talk about the Jets deciding to – I believe they lost this game, correct? Or did they win this game?
Yeah, they got whiffed 31-6.
My God.
But it was to the up-and-coming Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. So we'll start with you, Douglas. Can you defend the Jets that they're going to win next week against the Colts?
I mean, I already
last week.
I already made the bet with you, Stu. So, I think it's more about how not confident I am in the Colts. You just kind of think eventually something's going to click for this team, but who knows? What did I give them last week?
We all gave them a 3.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give them a 2 out of principle because anytime you lose by 25 in a game that on paper I think they were favored in 4 of their last 5 I read. And they've lost all of them. So I mean, odds are I'm going to lose this bet if that trend continues. But eventually they're favored again. And so, like, can't wait to see if they can finally actually win a game that they're favored in. But, I mean, they keep losing. This I don't know, their experiment's not working. And I saw Greeny, the host of, I think, that ESPN First Take, saying, like, if they don't make the playoffs, it's be like one of the worst, like, kind of disasters of all time. Like, their owner said that this was their best team in his ownership, and he's owned them for 25 years.
My God.
He's them for those, like, AFC championship seasons.
Are you telling me that Mark Sanchez was a worse quarterback than Aaron Rodgers as a Jet?
Well, yeah.
According to this owner?
That's what the owner said, Stu. He says that this was his best team. So that shows you how much he did.
Like, honestly, okay, you lost by 25. You're not looking good. It was an unwatchable game. You got to give them the 2. This team is not that good. Honestly, the Jets have been such a disappointment this season. Honestly, could we say the most disappointing of all the sports teams? Like,
well, probably. There's another one that I was hearing about today that I think it was the Philadelphia 76ers as being one of the biggest disappointments. They're like 2-8, and they just got Paul George and Embiid. So, like, they're right up there with the biggest. The Michigan Wolverines could maybe be there in the biggest disappointments this season.
Well, to be fair, I think I was kind of agreeing with my Strong Opinion Sports. They were going to give them a 9-3 record, and they've done worse. Just saying. I don't think we were thinking Super Bowl. I don't think we were thinking that national championships with Michigan. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I did think I was pretty bullish on this team. I was one of the people that thought this would all gel for them for sure.
Nope. And I think there is no gel for right now. Now, Christopher, are you going to give this team a 3 just to like?
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, look, we've given out so many 2s, but it's like Doug said that this little experiment's not really working out for him. I mean, Devontae Adams only had 31 yards. When you bring a Pro Bowler over from the Raiders to the Jets to hopefully make the Jets better, and it's not happening. It's a direct correlation of their stock value, which goes from a 3 to a 2 this week easily.
So I saw an interesting stat too. They were talking about how Rodgers is trying to force the ball to Adams. And they said that he has a 51% catch rate of balls thrown his way. He's only catching 51% of them, which is by far the worst in the NFL. They're just forcing it to him when they still have Garrett Wilson out there. And I don't know.
And Aaron Rodgers is still going to blame Devontae Adams for that missed catch, and it's not his fault.
Yeah, I mean, he blamed Mike Williams every time that Mike Williams messed up. Rodgers, I don't know. Hopefully,
I don't like, and I will be honest with you, I don't like how Rodgers blames players for this one. It feels like Big Ben energy, where it's like this person's fault. It's this person's fault. It's like, bro.
What do you guys think? The Vikings are going to take a chance on them next season?
Yeah. Yeah. Do it.
Or Rodgers. You're talking about Rodgers or Adams?
Rodgers going to the Vikings.
It's like
follow the Brett Favre career path.
It's like what Urinary and Tree said it. Do what the Brett Favre did. Go to Minnesota, send inappropriate photos to people, and then retire, and then steal millions of dollars from the state of California to build a volleyball stadium for your daughter. You see?
What a guy.
Okay.
What a guy, right? And then say you have Parkinson's.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, Doug, like you said, Adams was targeted 13 times, only 6 catches. No other player, wide receiver on the Jets was targeted more than double digits. So yeah, like you said, Doug, spot on with that 50% catch rate. It's terrible.
All right, 2. We got some terrible.
Oh yeah, I usually put them at 2. Absolutely.
We got some terrible 2s right now. Terrible. And then they'd be knuckleheads. And now the Arizona Cardinals, who have still been winning this game. It is crazy to think that Kyler Murray – is this the best Kyler Murray has been in his NFL career?
He looked impressive on Sunday. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. We'll start with you, Douglas. What is your thought? Actually, yeah, it should be Douglas. No, actually.
We all gave him a 6 last week.
I'm bullish, Deuce. I'm bullish here. I think they'd play the Falcons, if I'm correct, in the playoffs.
No, they'd be playing the Vikings, the 5 versus 4 seed, and it'd be a home game for the Cardinals.
Oh, wow. Man, see, I would take the Cardinals present moment in that game. Like they're going to be a 7 for me. This team, man, I mean, they're dominating. Like Kyler's playing at an elite level. They're clicking. They're blowing teams out. Like I think they have back-to-back 20-point wins. Like they played a lot of good teams tough. They beat San Francisco in San Francisco. They're first in their division. I think they're better than potentially the Falcons. And right now, the way the Vikings are playing, I think they beat them too.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this Cardinals team is looking amazing. Kyler Murray probably playing his best of his career. Could we say comeback player of the year for Kyler Murray?
He's got to be in the discussion, I would assume.
Like, honestly, who do you think has a better comeback than this year?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. That's a great question.
I mean, he tore his ACL and he was gone for most of the last season. And I don't think anyone thought that he was going to be balling this good right now. So,
what about Russell Wilson, Stu?
Ooh,
is Russell
that's wild.
That's a good question.
Well, I don't think Russell's played enough, though.
No, it's been only 2 games, and that's it. I feel like Kyler's been playing the whole time. So I'm going to give him the 7. I think this team is looking great. I think they can definitely beat the Vikings. I think the Vikings have given me a lot of warning signs, whereas the Cardinals have not given me any warning signs right now. So,
was Justin Herbert injured at all last year? Do you guys know?
No, Herbert was injured.
He just had a crappy year last year. Okay.
No, he had a crappy year, and then he got injured up towards the end. But this team.
So he was injured.
Yeah, he was picked up. I think he had like a bad ankle or something for a lot of years.
So he could be the comeback player of the year, but hey.
But that was more towards the end of the year.
I think he finished the year. He played most of the games.
Yeah, and they were playing bad most of the year. They were like losing games by 3, and they still couldn't win any games.
Gotcha. I'm gonna keep the Cardinals at a 6. I know you guys both did 7, but they're playing the Vikings, and I have an interesting proposition. It's Cardinals versus the Vikings in 3 weeks on December 1st. So if we had the same matchup or the same, Arizona versus Cardinals or Arizona versus Minnesota playoff type matchup, I'll easily put $5 down towards the Vikings, and then you guys do the Cardinals. We could do something like that.
I mean, I would do that right now, so we can just kind of I'll do a future bet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Really?
Let's do it. I think I'll pick the Cardinals.
Put it on our wagers of the week. I would.
All right. Let's put that down. Eventually, when we get to the end of the slide, I'll put $10 down. I'll put $10 down for the Vikings. If I lose, if the Vikings lose against that game against Cardinals in 3 weeks, I'll give $5 to Doug, $5 to Stuart. And if the Vikings win, I receive $5 from each of you. Let's do it. Sounds good. Heck yeah. Future bet. Love it.
Look forward to it.
All righty. Let's see it. And now we got the Lions beating the Houston Texans. We're going to start with me. My God. Wow. Texans had a huge lead and blew this game. At one point, I think, wasn't it 23? I believe it was 23-7. By the first half, I was going to probably do a eulogy on the Lions, but no. They decided.
Lions? Why would you do a eulogy on the Lions? They're
not
a eulogy on the team that is.
But I mean, this game, I should say.
Oh, this game. All right.
But somehow they just the defense just looks. I mean, this team looks like they're definitely falling apart a little bit, but they are still making the postseason as of right now.
We all gave them a 6 last week. They'd be playing the Ravens at home.
They're not being the Ravens. Let's be honest. This team's a 6. Let's be honest. There's no way this beat up team is going to beat the Ravens. Let's be honest. So no. I'll start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I'll continue it off. I'll give them a 6 because, they're not going to beat the Ravens if the playoffs start today. Man, let me tell you, and I agree with you, Stuart, that eulogy for this game could have happened after the end of the first half for the Lions because, man, Texans were smoking them. They were looking like they were a top dog in the AFC like we once talked about at the beginning of the season. But then Texas couldn't score a single point in that second half. It's because the Lions, America's team, baby. Keep the Texans at a 6 for me easily.
Yeah, they'll be a 6 for me as well. One of the surprising things, I was reading a stat, and it was about And like, granted, I thought it was a little bit harsh, but it was saying how big of a mistake it was for the Texans to try that field goal from 58. They said that the correct move in almost every analytic way was to go for it on the 4th and 4, because then you could have run out the clock, you control the situation, you have a whole different scenario. And it was pretty critical of the decision to try to kick that ridiculously long field goal at that point in the game, to then turn around and, lose on the Lions kick. But I mean, that's not why they lost this game. I mean, like, this is a game that they had every right winning. If you get 5 turnovers and you lose, I mean, I think it was like 1 in 326 or something ridiculous like that. It's like that's how like slim these odds were, with 5 turnovers and being down by more than 15 points. It was like only 1 out of 320 something teams have done it. So it's like, Houston, this should have been a fun day for you. We should be talking about you among the elites. Kind of the Lions potentially, and the Eagles really close to that 1 seed. Instead, we get to see why the Lions show that they're like those Super Bowl contenders with this comeback. And it's hard to feel down on this team when they were up and looking so good for a full half, but it's a 60-minute game, and they unfortunately did not score a single point.
I'm not feeling well, Douglas. I'm just like kind of feel ill. I might have a choking hazard right now. That's what the Texans did. It's just a choke.
Do you know what my favorite part of this game was? It's gonna sound silly, but when like Chris Collinsworth got so excited because Dan Campbell, when he was like, "Oh man, we just need to get a couple of turnovers," and immediately Carlton Davis had an interception, and like they were all so geeked about it. And the way Dan Campbell talked about it, like Alex was saying that they were gonna lose. I'm like, dude, this team's gonna win this game. You can just feel the confidence from Campbell. He's like, well, we need to get a couple of turnovers. We need to do this. We need to do this.
Oh, yeah.
In this game. And then literally immediately they get turnover, another turnover in the end zone. Thank you so much, Carlton Davis, because Tank Dell was wide open in the end zone. Would have cost him that fantasy game, but CJ took an extra half a second to throw the ball. And that would have been the difference in this game, man. Like if CJ Stroud gets that ball out a half a second earlier, and that's how close this game is sometimes. It goes from being a huge touchdown to a crucial interception. But man, oh man, tough Sunday night for sure.
And the crazy part is their win percentage was a 92.1% odds of winning the game starting the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you should have put in some stock on some Lions.
They were up 16, and they got the ball to start the second half.
Yep.
Not good.
Not good. And now we got to start with you, Douglas. You're a Lions fan. How's it feel? They're now still number 1 in division. Won this game, came back and won it by field goal, 52-yarder.
Stu, that's what champions do. Stu. They win the games they're not supposed to win. The Lions had no business winning this game, but they showed up. Like, they kind of looked flat, and then all of a sudden, they did what championship teams do, and they stepped up, and they did exactly what they needed to do. They followed Dan Campbell's instructions, their fearless leader. They played hard-nosed football. No Aiden Hutchinson, no problem. We can still shut you out in the second half. They nailed the offseason because they made their secondary awesome. They're great against the run. If Terrion Arnold can just get better, because like that's their big weakness is they have the rookie out there, number 0, and he gets a lot of penalties. But Carlton Davis is amazing. They have the best safety combination in the league. Like they have the number 1 and number 2 rated safeties. They have just an awesome like defense as a whole. And when they click on offense, man, like it's just poetry in motion. Like easy 9. Like this seems fun.
Yes. Oh my God. I am going to give them the 1. No, just kidding. The Detroit Lions look like they're looking amazing. To come back from a 16-point deficit in the third quarter, most teams, and I kind of agree with this. There's this great YouTuber named Archfiend, underrated YouTuber. And he always says this one thing, and this was like a long time ago. A good team could beat a bad team, and they have a bad game and they lose. A great team, in my opinion, has a bad game, but they still come back and win the game. And that's what the Detroit Lions did today. They had a bad first half. They came back and won that game.
Well, like Chris Collinsworth, once again, like I really appreciated his sayings too, because he was like, either way, win or lose, the Lions are going to be glad that they're in this game because they're going to get tested and they're going to see what they're truly made of. And like they kind of expect them to lose, but then the fact that they still won it and like even just making it close was enough for me because we're playing against one of the better young quarterbacks in the league, a really hot team. Well, not hot after like they've had a little bit of a rough patch there without Nico and Stephon Diggs, but it's a championship win.
I always say it. I don't think the Detroit Lions of the Stafford era would never came back and won this game. No,
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
This team's built different.
This team's built different. This is the brand new Lions. I think I hate to say it, but restore the roar of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, gosh,
is that a saying in Detroit? Restore the war. That's restore the roar. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. That should be. You should have that as your placard, Douglas. Restore the roar.
That, and then I like the one pride. There's a few different ones that are real fun for the Lions, and the Lions fan base, man, like they're giving Steelers vibes, bro. They're traveling, like they are showing up to stadiums, giving Jared Goff like chants across the country. Like Lions fans, man, are hyped up. Like Detroit is all in on this team right now, bro. Like Detroit is like such a great sports city.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is your thoughts, Mr. Theodore?
Keep them at 9. I mean, you guys sit all in the head, and I say week in, week out, Lions are a complete team, the best team in the NFL right now. Better than the Chiefs for sure, even though the record doesn't say it. Well, by one loss, one win. Yeah, way better than the Chiefs, I'd say. So, yeah, most complete team, dominating. And like you said, Stuart, a great team is down and out but comes back to win the battle. So, yeah, easy 9 for the Lions. America's team.
Okay, we can't.
Bro.
We're not saying that. I'm sorry. And now we got to talk about the Miami Dolphins beating the LA Rams. Was it 20-10? Even though,
oh man, that was 23-15. Rams had a shot, but they kind of blew it towards the end.
Yeah,
the coaching was sus, man. Like that, I'm glad that it was because once again, another one of the back-to-back games that saved my fantasy season. But like, man, like I don't know why they kicked a field goal on third down. Like, not that would have changed anything, but like, there's 3 or 4 of those situations that I just didn't agree with Sean McVay's decisions, which usually doesn't happen.
It was terrible.
Like, honestly, okay, so we're going to start with the LA Rams. They lost to them 23-15. I go first on the Rams.
And we all gave the Rams a 5 last week.
This is not – I mean, maybe this might be a better Dolphins team, but this is not making me like this Rams team. Honestly, I feel like – I'm contemplating. Should I give them 3?
Ooh, a 5 to a 3?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are they worse than Tampa? Is Tampa in that 3? Did we give Tampa 3?
This week we gave the Bucs a 4.
I think we'll give them the 4 because I feel like if they're like, I mean, but honestly, I am contemplating giving them the 3. I feel like this is back to the old Rams of not last year, but 2 years ago. It's not looking good in Rams country.
Yeah, I watched that game. I'm in a bowling league on Mondays after our bowling games are done. We sit around the bar and we watch the Monday night game. And that Monday night game, another poopy, crappy primetime game.
Oh, it was a great football game, right?
I mean, if you're a Tyreek Hill fan, he finally scored his second touchdown on the season, but the Rams weren't doing anything, especially like Doug said, and I agree with him. Yeah, that coaching towards the end of the game, I don't know what was going on. I had hoped that they were going to possibly tie it, once like I don't think one onside kick has been successful this year because the new ruling is so stupid how you have to announce it. So yeah, once they got that field goal to make it 23-15, onside kick come, I knew it was over. Closed out my bar tab and left. So yeah, going from a 5 to a 4 easily because yeah, you have to beat the Dolphins at home. If you can't beat them at home, man, you deserve to be a 4 at the moment.
Yeah, nailed it. I mean, Tua coming back, maybe that's part of this, but like this was a game that you have to win at home. Like you were right in the thick of the NFC West. Like you would be tied. You'd technically be ahead of the 49ers because you beat them head-to-head, I believe. And so it's like you had everything to play for. And And like the amount of times that they got close to the end zone and kicked a field goal is just mind blowing. It's like they could have had a chance in this game, and every time I think they kicked a bunch of like 20-yard field goals. It felt like they would get right there and then just kick a short chip shot. Like it made no sense because like there was a few times too where it's like it didn't make a significant difference in the outcome of the game. To like I don't know, it was just really weird decisions how much they kicked field goals. Give me a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the 4 is going down for the Rams. They get 4 unlucky 4s right now. And now we got the Miami Dolphins who are chugging all the way up. I can't believe it. Tua's back, baby. And now we're start with you, Christopher. What are your thoughts about the Miami Dolphins?
We all gave the Dolphins a 2 last week. Looking at what we gave in the AFC East, we gave the Patriots a 2, we gave the Jets a 2. Dolphins are a half game better than those 2 teams. Since they successfully squeezed out a win in Los Angeles, I would Tyreek Hill, he got a touchdown. That was great. Only his second on the season. Devon Achane, he didn't really do much of anything. But, Tua was able to lead him to a victory. And, it was pretty much a runaway victory for the most part, up 17-6 to going in the second going into the fourth quarter. So I'd bump him off from a 2 to a 3, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Now it's time for you, Douglas.
I think Chris nailed the logic. Like, I think 3, that's a team that if they get hot, there's a chance they can make a playoff push, as odd as that sounds.
Yeah. And
healthy, you got speed, you got weapons. You make a run here. The 7th seed in the AFC is kind of open a little bit. Go take it. You're only 2 games out of that last spot or so. You got like the Colts. You got some tough teams maybe there, but
the Colts and the Bengals. That'll be tough teams to overcome. But you never know.
You never know. And I'm going to give the Dolphins the 3. 2 is looking back, and he's looking good. He's looking like prime Tua right now. Tyreek Hill got a touchdown. I feel like this team is looking really good right now. And if I'm looking at their schedule right now, they got a lot of easy games. They got 2 easy games. They got to play against the Raiders, at Dolphins, and they got to play against the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They might win 2. They're in an easy spot, and then they got to play against the Packers. I think that's an easy one. The Jets, I think it's an easy win. Texans, I don't know if they can beat the Texans. We'll see.
If I'm not mistaken, the Bengals play in Los Angeles this week against the Chargers. That's a possible loss.
Yeah.
You got the Colts playing against the Lions next week. So it's like Miami's got a chance, man. They got a chance to make a run here, and it'd be kind of fun.
I think they could make a chance to go and run it right now. I know they're 3-6, but they could definitely come back right over here, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see. And now we got the waivers of the week. Like I said, still picks of who's going to get fired. I still think the New York Giants is going to get fired. Chris, I still don't understand why you picked the Patriots.
Stu, I will say the Giants are getting close, man. They got to be getting close.
They're not. They're going to fire a guy after 1 year.
I don't know. But what you could add to this list, dude, what you could add to this list is December 1st for the Vikings Cardinals game, $5 wager.
All right.
Me $10 wager. You guys $5 wager.
So
Stu and Doug picked the Cardinals, and then Chris picks the Vikings. That's on December 1st. Yeah, 3 weeks to go.
Stu, I think we have the 2 best shots for the next coach fired. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first team being eliminated is looking more like neither of those teams, man. The Patriots.
No, I don't think it's any of these teams. We got no teams.
It's looking like the Jaguars.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Get rid of Trevor Lawrence, who you just pay a ton of money to. Go get Sanders. Maybe they'll do the Sanders combo. Stu, bring primetime back to Florida.
I can't believe it. Chris,
you're
going to pick it right here. I can't believe it. So
put $5 right next to it or something like that.
Well, Stu, and then me and you have we have the Colts versus the Jets as well.
Oh, wait a minute. So I'm picking the Colts.
Oh, that's right.
And then
And that's
versus
this week. Woo!
Yes, sir.
the Jets.
There it
That,
is.
that five. Oh, Stu, you said $8 beer.
An $8 beer. And I can't wait to get that from anywhere. It's better be a good bar. Let's do it.
All right.
And then let's see. We'll see who will win in the wagers of the week.
Wagers of the week.
All right. So we got a lot. It looks like Douglas got some good old buckaroonies and lost some good old buckaroonies. So we'll start with that.
Wait, did the Jets drop to a 2?
Yes, they did drop to a 2.
Oh.
So let's see, Doug, for the Dolphins, you had 4 stocks, so you got $12 off that because they went up from a 2 to a 3, so you got $12 from the Dolphins. And then you got $6 from the Jets because it went from a 2 to a 3.
Man, oh man.
I'm sorry, from a 3 to a 2, but you had 3 of them. So a total of you netted $1. So you have a total of $18, right, guys?
Woo!
Well, I'm gonna make it simple. I'm just gonna keep my stocks, boys. I think the Dolphins are gonna go on a run, and I picked the Jets to beat the Colts, so I'll stay strong.
All right.
So make sure you change that 2 to a 3, and that 3 for the Jets to a 2. So let's see, that'd be. So you have that's 12, and then you have 6. So you have $2 left there, Doug.
What do you want to do with that $2, Douglas?
You can do another Jet stock to make it 18 total.
That should be 18, isn't it?
No,
12
no, because look, 3 times 4 is 12 for the Dolphins, and then 2 times 3 for the Jets is. Oh wait, yeah, it is 18. That's my bad.
So I'll take the extra stock if you want to give it.
All right.
Yeah, let's go extra stocks now. Christopher, you're up next. So the 49ers, I believe,
All right, 49ers stayed the same. We gave them a 5 this week, so that's 15 right there.
Giants.
But then the Giants.
Oh no! You lost money on the Giants. No.
Yeah, I lost $1. So I got $16 to play with.
No. All right. What do you got to do?
So I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna keep my 49ers stock, but I'm only gonna have 1 stock for the 49ers. And then I am going to give me the Dolphins at $3 a stock. I'm only going to take 1 stock, so that's 8 right there. And then give me the New Orleans Saints.
The Saints?
They're at $2 a stock. So you're giving me 4 of them. That should be.
Really? Who do they play this week?
They play the Browns at home against. That's what I'm going with them. And the way I look at it, the Saints, they're 3-6. If they beat the Browns, they'll be 4-6, right? Man, let me see. Yeah. No, sorry, they're 3-7. They beat the Browns, they'll be 4-7. I mean, would we keep the Saints at a 2 if they have 4 wins? So yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Stu, you lost money too. It looks like you lost $4, Stu.
$4. Oh my God.
So let's see. We kept the Bengals at a 4, and then you lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stu, you're the anti-Dogecoin right now. You're
tanking, boy.
I don't know.
Rocket exploded, man. What happened?
Unfortunately, we had a disaster relief fund.
Why would you bet on Daniel Jones still?
I thought they were going to do better. I'm sorry. I thought the Ravens were going to choke. And I was right in the first half. Damn, darn it. Anyway, I feel like I'm going to probably get some Colts because, I got to go with my Colts right over here. They were a 4, correct? No, they're 5, right?
Yeah, I think 5.
Colts, we put them at a 5, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Are they going to get to the 6? That's the only thing. They win this.
If they beat the Jets, they might, I don't know.
True. Yeah. And you did pick the Colts, and then, Doug picked the Jets.
So they're at a 4, correct? Or they're at a 5?
They're at a 5.
Yeah, Colts are at a 5.
So I'm going to give 1 stock to the Colts. That gives me $7. I'm going to give give me some Dolphin stock. Let's do it. I might go 2 stocks to the Dolphins.
All right.
I think the Dolphins.
Which one are you going to take, Stu?
I'm gonna do $2 for the stock for the Dolphins. So that's 11. Where does my $1 go? What is the garbage of
Well, the Giants are on a bye, and the Jags play the Lions.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I want chaos,
Oh,
baby.
Oh, no.
All right, Stu, I like it. Woo!
Oh, no, you just cursed us, Stu.
How funny.
I mean, but Stewart can't lose money on the Jags because you can't lose money on a team that has a stock of 1. You know,
Can they get mathematically eliminated this week, Stu?
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay, I hope for your sake they can't get mathematically eliminated because then
Oh
your
my
dollar.
god!
Wait, did we make that a rule? If they're eliminated, they'll go down to a 0.
Yes,
Yeah,
basically.
since we don't talk about them anymore, they're not worth anything.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of fun when we get to the postseason where it's like we got to pick out this team what's gonna survive. It's like grenades, basically.
So if the Jags lose this week, they'll be 2-9. Technically, they will not be mathematically. They could still make a wild card because the Broncos are 5-5. So technically, they won't be out yet. So Stu's not gonna lose that $1.
I'm not gonna lose $1, but it would be hilarious. I would laugh a little bit, LOL laugh, and then you probably would be like, "I'm gonna."
You know what I could do? I was just feeling like a tool this week because I could just take 2 stocks of the Lions and just know they're gonna hold steady.
Yeah.
Oh, so you won't lose any money. Yeah, just keep it at $18.
Exactly. Maintain the lead, take the Lions against one of the worst teams in the league.
Unless the entire NFL blows up and the Lions are the only team to be there, then they could win the Super Bowl, so it'd be out of 10. Hey.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And now, gentlemen, I guess this is all the week of Week 10 NFL. Do you have any questions, thoughts?
Well, we all picked the Dolphins, so go Dolphins.
Yes, go Dolphins all the way.
Yeah,
go
Dolphins are playing the Raiders in Miami. Let's go Tua.
I'm going to say go Jaguars.
I think this next week is probably the best week of football, man. We got actual good primetime games. Like it's going to be a fun. I'm excited for next week.
Yeah, we got 3 matchups that have two or less losses amongst all 6 of those teams. It's going to be a great Sunday of football.
It's a great Sunday in football, so we'll see how it goes. And now, like I said, next week we're going to talk about Week 11 stocks. We'll see how it goes. And as always, I will catch you later, Mr. Gators. So, as always, take care. Bye-bye.